are definitely loud and proud. Biggest Auto Radio with Jay Fierce Rodriguez. And this afternoon, our studio guest is Jan from Fernley News Network out here in Fernley. Hello, Jan.
How's it going?
It's going pretty good.
Awesome.
It's Wednesday, nice and hot, but nice and cool in here.
Yes, it is.
For now. It'll get hotter in here, and that's just usually because that's just, the sun and the sun rays are hitting the building. But, hey, we're glad to have you here for Jan's Fernley Spotlight, your first broadcast on the show. How you feeling?
I'm feeling great.
Good. That's awesome. That's the best way to feel it. So tell us what you got going on today and who your guest is and what's going to happen on the show.
Well, today's guest is going to be really fun because we'll probably have you itching and scratching by the time it's all over.
That's going to be fun.
We got Michael Teeter here with All About Pest Control, Inc. He's in Fernley, Nevada. Say hi, Michael.
Hello, everybody.
Now, how long have you been around in the business here?
I've been doing pest control in Fernley it'll be 11 years in October.
It's quite a while. Now, you mentioned before that your brother was in the business also?
Yep, I bought the company from him. He had it for 7 years prior to me buying it.
Mm-hmm.
And is that 7 years prior to the 11 years that you've been doing it? Or,
yes.
Oh, wow. Okay.
11.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
That's a long time. Good stuff.
Yeah. Now, when I know I asked you this before, but how you got in the business, you said there was a long answer. So let's give him the long answer.
Okay. Back in 1983, when I got out of the Army, I got into corrections, and I got injured on the job. And so I went through a vocational rehab, which led me to this path.
All righty.
Well, I sure shortened that one up, didn't
yeah,
I?
you sure did. Okay, you're in Fernley, but what areas are you covering besides Fernley?
We cover from Fernley all the way through Carson City, through Dayton, through Carson, into Minden, Gardnerville, and Genoa.
Wow.
Everywhere in between.
So you're going 24/7?
The phone is open 24/7.
Mm-hmm.
You can leave a message. We'll get a hold of you as soon as possible.
I have a question. Where do you see yourself more often? And like, what town are you usually busier at than anywhere else?
Probably going to say Carson City because of the size.
Okay. Yeah, because Carson City is pretty big, so they definitely got a lot of people, and that being the capital, of course, of Nevada. So, wow.
Yeah. Now we're out here in the boonies in Fernley, so we're dealing with different kinds of things. But right now, it's like what, ants, spiders, mice.
Ants are number one. Probably we get a lot of wasp calls and spiders.
Mm-hmm. Now with ants, I've had people ask me, and I've seen posts that we've got ants with wings. What does that mean? Because there's more than one, right?
Ants reproduce in the air. They mate in the air. So when you see an ant with wings, those are reproductive ants.
Okay, so it's not necessarily a termite.
No. There's a distinct difference. The ant's got a 3-portion body parts, and whereas if you look at a termite, it looks like it's one unit, one body part.
That's really interesting. Okay, what about spiders? I see a lot of people taking pictures of spiders, and they put them on Facebook and say, "Ew, I found this in my garage. What is it?"
Yeah, I see that a lot. That's cool. I like that.
They don't know the difference between the regular brown ones and the brown recluse, and they can identify the black widows.
Right, and because they're so common, and people get confused about the brown recluse. They can be brought here, say in a box from areas that they're indigenous to, but they're not common to our area. Probably the closest would be Las Vegas.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, so now let's hit a topic that everybody loves and hates in town: mice. I think we're going to spend a little time on that one.
Well, the mice are they can get through any kind of hole that you could put a pencil through. They can squeeze through that hole. They can jump vertically 3 feet. They just persistent, and unfortunately, every time they stop moving, they either urinate or defecate.
Mm-hmm. Or how often do they have babies? Short cycle, so you have more. Because we've got some coming out of the field.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if you get like one, right? I mean, if you end up with one, is it going to turn into more than one eventually?
Well,
in most cases,
it takes two,
right?
And the gestation period, I'd have to look that one up.
Okay.
20 days. Oh, thank you.
20 days. Thank you, Alyssa. Nice.
Awesome.
20 days. My gosh. Okay.
All right. Now, what were you saying about the home? Somebody was saying something about homes and construction and is pushing mice.
Right, and that's what's going on in our neighborhood over in Donna Trails right now. Is there's new homes being put up, and with these new homes being put up, they're where mice were living are now being pushed towards residents' homes, and unfortunately, one has ended up in our garage, and we're like, oh no, what do we do? So, what are some tips that you can give to those who maybe want to try? Is there at-home remedies, or is it best to just call pest control and have them take care of it?
Well, you could try to do it yourself, and that's going to be really hard because exclusion is difficult because, like I said, how tiny they can squeeze through a hole. But if you can find where they're coming through, you could push some steel wool in there, and when they try to chew on that, it'll irritate their gums, and they'll just go somewhere else.
Steel wool.
Steel wool.
Okay. Well, that's a good tip. Especially for those homes that maybe my neighbors or whatnot, and trying to keep that problem out of their home. But if you've already got the problem, call pest control.
Yes, please.
Okay.
Yeah. And what are they going to be getting into when they get into your house?
Oh, they're going to get into dog food, cat food, people food.
Are
you
they
name
be
it.
Chewing?
Oh, they're going to be chewing and collecting nesting material.
Your insulation, basically,
yes.
Right? Yeah.
Paper.
Yeah. So what's some of the things to look for as far as what do their little nests look like?
Well, the nest you're not going to really see out in the open. They're going to make it so that you're going to have to dig for it, or it's going to be in a void. So like a kick plate underneath in the kitchen where you're underneath the sink, there's usually a gaps where they're coming in and out from underneath the sink floor. And
I've seen them come in where the pipes are also.
yes, and that's a good place to put the steel wool in.
Okay. Now, what about snakes in our area?
Snakes are really common, especially this time of year. We get a couple rattlesnake calls, and we're happy to come out and remove that snake off your property. If you can keep an eye on it from a safe distance, that's going to make it. Because if they get lost, we may never find it.
Mm-hmm. Now, what about beneficial snakes? Because everybody wants to kill all the snakes they can find, but there are some that eat the rodents, right?
Oh yeah, all the snakes are going to eat rodents, and gopher snakes are common around here, and they're a good snake. Yeah.
So, what are the type of markings that gopher snakes have that that aren't going to hurt you? That they're there for a specific reason?
Oh, if you have any doubt, just treat it like a poisonous snake. Stay away from it.
Okay. Do we have any skunks in the area here?
I don't recall getting any skunk calls.
That's good.
Well, that's good, yeah. Especially out here in Fernley. I mean, you smell them on the highway, of course, when they get run over and stuff like that, but not running around the house, that's a good sign.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that's kind of, I'm kind of intrigued by that in a sense. With us, especially around the Farm District area, I can only assume, I know there's been some skunks in those areas, but they've never... it's good that they haven't gone into the residents or bothered any residents to actually have you get called. So that's a good sign.
Yeah, I've dealt with them in the past, but not in Nevada.
Wow. Amazing.
Yeah. Now, one thing that people don't, they move into the area and they don't really realize that they're here probably because they're the same color as the dirt and how small some of them are scorpions.
Yeah, the bark scorpion is really common to our area, especially this time of the year. It can be fatal for elderly or very young, and they're going to be hiding underneath boards and rocks and
in the shade.
Yeah, out trying to get it out. And they're very interesting because you can hit them with a black light and they glow. So that's pretty cool.
That's crazy. And actually, we just had our neighbor across the street. She came across a scorpion in her home, and that also, again, from the construction, they're pushing all of these creatures that are living out on the field. They're getting pushed to our neighborhood homes, and so and this is right across the street from our house. So my wife is like, "Uh-oh, we need to do something to prevent this happening, because we have a 3-year-old, and we definitely don't want any of our family members or anyone to get come across the scorpion in our home. Is it common for them to go inside of a home, or do they primarily try to stay outdoors and like under wood or hiding or something like that?
It's probably an accident that they make it inside. A lot of times they'll hitch a ride on our pets. And the pet doesn't even know it. It's crawled on it, and then the pet comes in your house, and the scorpion falls off.
Scary stuff right there, but they can be fatal. So best thing to do if you come across one in your home is to
call me.
Okay.
Does a glass mason jar help? Just
Yeah,
put it over the top or
does,
something
yeah.
like that.
Cover it up.
So
right.
it can't go anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
And of course, call him.
Definitely give him a call. Now we've got. I've noticed that I kind of know how to spot moths. That it just kind of looks like a little blood spot here and there in your house, and those little spots end up having moths in them. But how can they? Now I know they can get into your clothes, and they don't live very long, correct?
No, they have a very short life cycle. There's many different kinds of moths, and we would take care of pantry pest type moths, clothes moths, and then a lot of it is preparation, vacuuming is part of it. Depending on which moth we're talking about, meal moths are going to be in the pantry and could be in dog food, and you want to go through all your foodstuffs and get rid of anything that's infested before you even get started on a treatment.
And how can you tell by looking at flour or whatever if it's
Pinholes in the plastic bag.
what about
You could see
in the meal or
you could see
flour
the
itself?
casing sometimes in there too. Yeah.
Oh, okay. You mentioned honeybees.
They're awesome, and we want to protect them as much as possible.
Do we have a lot around the area?
We don't have as much as we used to, and that's the scary thing about the bees, the honeybees, is the scientists are still trying to figure out why they're depleting in numbers, and we need them, so we don't want to poison them at all.
Do they have a habit of dying off with, maybe where more pesticides are used than less, or they haven't tied that down?
I haven't looked at it lately, but they are definitely beneficial, and we need our honeybees.
What can we do as residents or even community members to protect those honeybees? What can we do to try to expand the population for them?
Being careful where you apply any pesticides. Don't apply them on top of a flower that a honeybee is going to tend. And just give them their space.
What are good things to plant to actually draw them? Aren't there certain plants to draw them that they eat or?
Depends on if you really want to do that, but yeah,
Well,
you may, just depending on how big of a yard if you got.
Great sage honey here.
If you got big enough yard, and you don't have little ones in
Your flowers, yeah.
Yeah, then maybe that'd be good. Are you looking that up, Alyssa? She's like, no, not this one.
Well,
okay,
we try.
But we definitely want to try to protect those honeybees. It sounds like that almost detrimental that we do. Yeah.
Correct. So when I asked you earlier, your answer cracked me up. But when I asked you, what do people ask you the most? You said,
How much?
That's a good question, actually, and I probably need to know that answer too. So,
well, I'd like to offer everybody a discount, a $30 discount, if that's okay, if they call. It's free to call, and it's free for us to come out and look at your place and see what your situation is, because everybody's different. And that's what's different about, I believe, my company, is that we'll gear it towards what's a reasonable price for what the problem you have, not just do a general, this is the big base price, and it could be more than you need to pay.
now for your regular everyday prices, you offer things like for seniors or for vets?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Okay.
So seniors and veterans get good deals, and then of course to come out to the house or to call you and have you come and assess what's going on is it no cost?
Right, no
Wow,
charge.
that's awesome. I mean,
No,
I haven't heard of that. I think
We're happy to come out and take a look at what you got and talk to you about it and mention the radio station here, and we're happy to give you a $30 discount on whether you go with a one-time service that's warranted for 30 days or a regular maintenance program.
awesome.
Totally
That's good.
fantastic.
Yes.
Well, let's get your information on how people can contact you.
Yes, you can call us at 775-250-3074 or reach us at the website allaboutpestcontrolinc.com. We're all about pest control, so you don't have to be.
Ah, nice. Great tagline right there.
Hey, awesome.
Well, thank you for coming down. Thank you.
Thank you,
yeah,
Michael.
for doing this.
Thank you guys for inviting me.
All right, and that's Jan's Fernley Spotlight for today, first run, and we'll see you back again next Wednesday.
With lots more things you will be expecting or unexpecting. Anything from candy to Ghostbusters. So stay tuned.
Awesome, right here on Biggest Little Radio, loud and proud. Stick around, got more music on the way. It's Jay Fierce Rodriguez on Biggest Little Radio.